started the recording.
Okay,
And
let me just share my screen. Sorry. Share. Let me know when you're able to see it.
yeah,
Mm,
I can see it, man.
Oh, let me just see how can I switch screens.
Yeah, go at the top where it says, you know, if you go at the top, uh,
Oh, display
display
setting.
setting, yeah, duplicate. So, yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So can we start it? Yep.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay. So my name is Marcos Milhomem. I'm a Azure Infrastructure TSP. I work on the same team as Navid, and today we're gonna talk a little bit about Azure Virtual Wan. So Azure Virtual Wan, for you who doesn't know it, it was launched at Ignite, and it's a brand new services. And we're gonna talk more of it, but the idea is to help you guys interconnect all pretty much all of your branch offices with your data centers when with Azure, right? So let's start moving. Okay. So pretty much, you know that, apps are moving to the cloud, users are going mobile, and there's a lot of networking security considerations. But the issue we had so far is that everybody's moving to the cloud, but you will still have a kind of a split brain, right? You have your on-prem network, you have your cloud network, you have your branches network, and usually you have one connection between your cloud and your on-prem. So it could be either an express route or a VPN, but usually you would have that single path, and then all of your networking team would have to do a lot of routing and stuff into that single path to the cloud. And when the traffic reaches the cloud, there was a lot of routing over there as well. And the although it works, it's been working so far. The issue we start seeing with some customers around that is that one, it was completely manual. So you had to create all the routes by yourself. You had to, continues to monitor that single connection, and it was working pretty much like a split brain. So people would say, okay, that's my cloud network, and that's my on-premise network, right? And this kind of behavior is not scalable, right? Pretty much because you're doing manual tasks all the time. So one thing that we thought it was, hey, we already have a global network. So there is something called Microsoft's global network, which pretty much interconnect every single Azure data center, and it is already laid down all across the globe. So Microsoft just thought, hey, why don't we leverage our Microsoft global networking, and we enable our customers to use that global network as their WAN, right? So instead of you having to hire a telecom company to lay down all of your WAN, and usually this is one, expensive, and second, usually you have fines, you have a 1 year or 3 years commitment that you have to do it, and they're gonna pass the cables for you. They're gonna create the MPLS ring and everything. But why don't we create a virtual WAN that already uses all of our global network reach? And that was the initial thought of the creation of the Microsoft Virtual WAN, a way for you to create a global WAN then can reach anywhere in the globe, but that is pay as you go. You pay only from what you use it, and you can deploy or destroy anytime you want, as any cloud service should be, right? So that's the idea. You can now unify, and you don't have to live in that split brain saying, "Oh, this is my cloud network, this is my on-premise network." Okay, so just a little bit more about our Microsoft Global Network. I don't know if you guys all know, but every single Azure region is interconnected with every other Azure region through dark fiber. Microsoft owns all of those dark fibers crossing oceans and everything. So we have right now 54 Azure regions. We have more than 50 express route sites. We have more than 70,000 miles of fiber in 130, more than 130 locations across the globe. So pretty much you're going to create a virtualized WAN on top of all that network that is already created, right? And you can start leveraging that. So pretty much you can use the Azure Global Network as your network to go from either Office A in US to Office B in Europe, or go from Office B in Europe to Azure region in Asia, or connecting all of your branches together. So branch A who sits in East US can talk to branch B who sits in West US or Europe or South America through this virtual WAN without you needing to acquire a whole MPLS ring and everything, right? So pretty much we already have a rich portfolio of networking services, right? So I'm just laying down some of them here. So you have application gateway, traffic manager, load balancers, all of those. I'm not going to go through every single of those, but adding to those, we're gonna have now the Azure Virtual WAN, right? So that's the main idea. So it's a global scale branch connectivity. The This is good. What is great is that it's automated provisioning and configuring, right? So once you have a VPN gateway on your branch that uh, knows Azure Virtual WAN, it will automatically connect to your Azure Virtual WAN with zero need of provisioning and configuration. Of course, it is not every single model. We are working with partners to do that. I'm gonna show you in a bit, but there is an option to manual configure as well. But the idea is you're gonna just send a VPN gateway on over to your branch. You're gonna power it up, connect the internet cable, and will automatically find your Azure Virtual WAN. Right? You're gonna have unified monitoring and management. It's gonna be integrated with all of our partner solutions. We are working with them right now, right? And that's the idea. It's gonna be scalable, so you can have a virtual WAN with dozens of hundreds of connections. Every single small branch can connect through using side-to-side VPN. Bigger branches can connect through express route. Your Azure, your local data centers can also connect through express route. Right. So right now we already have Citrix and Riverbed on board. We're also working with Checkpoint, New Age Networks, Palo Alto, and Silver Peak. So those appliances will know how to connect to your virtual one automatically. You pretty much power them up. You put the the service credential of Azure, and they know how to connect to your virtual one. Of course, you still have the manual option, but the idea is to be fully automated, right? So let's talk about the elements of virtual WAN. So pretty much you're gonna create a virtual WAN, right? After you create a virtual WAN, you're gonna create something called VPN sites. So VPN sites are pretty much a logical representation of either your branch office or your data center or your main office. So you can create as many as you want. After you create those branch offices, you're gonna create something called a virtual hub, and you can have one virtual hub in each Azure region, and all of those virtual hubs are interconnected on your Azure Virtual WAN, and that connectivity is done by leveraging the Microsoft Network Backbone, right? After you do that, your appliances, if your appliances are from one of our partners that are already working with Virtual WAN, it, that VPN gateway that is on your VPN sites will automatically connect to your virtual hub. If they are not, what do we do? You can go to your, and I'll show you this in a bit. You can go to your virtual WAN. You're gonna click on an option and you're gonna download a VPN site configuration for you. Then you can apply on your VPN gateway. Okay? And you can also connect your VNets to that virtual hub. So in that way, you can manage all the traffic across the globe between on-prem and Azure in a unified way, and you can manage it in a unified way. Okay. So what are the steps to provision? What is the provisioning flow? You first create a virtual WAN, then you create your VPN sites, right? You can either manually or automatically uh, upload them. Again, if you're using one of the VPN gateways from our partners that are already prepared for virtual WAN, it'll be automatically. You're gonna pretty much select which hub is your entrance point into your virtual WAN. You will do the configuration management of it, right? You will either download the configuration and send it to your brand office. Is going to be, or this is going to be automatic depending on which kind of VPN gateway you have, and pretty much you're going to just access and monitor, right? So pretty much we are giving you a way to create a wide area network, a network that covers all the globe, connecting every single branch of you with a couple of clicks, and you can do that everything automatically from the Azure portal. So that's another representation of global reach network. So let's say that here is on your left is US, on your left is US, over here is South America, and let's say that over here is Europe, right? So you would have one virtual WAN. You're gonna have one hub in US, one in South America, one in Europe. You're gonna have all of your virtual networks connected to those hubs, right? Where it makes sense. So US VNets connecting to US hub and so on. And then each branch of C will do a VPN connection to your hub, and it's right now it's already in preview using also point to site connectivities, right? And express route. So all of those are going to connect to your hub, and then you pretty much can enable all the communication between those sites. So you can enable something called branch to Azure, which means that every single branch can talk to everything in Azure, or you can enable that plus branch to branch connectivity, meaning branch one can talk to branch two via virtual WAN, and they also can talk to the Azure hubs and spokes, right? So right now you can have a spoke to spoke connectivity, or you pretty much can delete that and let everything flow to the virtual hub, which it will be the desired state because you will be able to manage it better. You can apply NSGs the same way you do right now, and you can even create a hub and spoke and apply NVAs. So you can create another network, another virtual network connected to the hub, connected to your spokes, and deploy in a central manner all of your NVAs. And NVA is a network virtual appliance for those who doesn't know it, right? So that's how you can do it to manage using NVA. So for example, over there you could have a Palo Alto, sorry, you could have a Palo Alto, or you could have an F5 managing all your traffic. The main idea is you can now grow and scale your whole uh, WAN or your whole network reach across every single place of the planet using Azure, right? To do that without Azure Virtual One was a pretty manual and a stressful process because everything that we are doing automatically for you, your network team would have to do it by themselves and this would require a lot of work, right? So we are the first cloud right now that offers something like this, that that gives you guys give you guys the ability to, pretty much connect every single branch office and data center together in an automatic fashion and monitor everything from a centralized location, right? So I will right now show you a little bit on the portal just to let you know how easy you can do this. So let me close this, close this. So here on the portal is your virtual WAN, and you can pretty much go to all services and find your virtual WAN, right? I already have one created, but I'm gonna create a second one just for you to see. So I'm gonna just click add, put a name, uh, right? Select. I'm gonna create a new work group, a new resource group, and I'm just gonna hit create. In some minutes, I'm gonna create a new Azure Virtual WAN, and I can go inside it and start creating hubs. So the deployment is in process. Just take a couple seconds. I'm already seeing my second virtual WAN over here. Okay, if I go inside the virtual WAN, you're gonna see that it's pretty simple. Right now, you see that I don't have any hubs or any endpoints. So pretty much the first thing I can do is create a VPN site. Right, so I can just pretty much click on create site. I can give you a name. So for example, South Central branch, right? What is the public IP of my VPN gateway that is residing on that branch? So let's say there's 100.100.10.1. What is the address space of the virtual of the network that I have over there? And let's say that is 40/24. If I have more than one, I can put it over here and just hit create, just hit confirm. I also have an option of show advanced, which pretty much can tells me enable BGP or not, the link speed, the device vendor, and device model. This will help me if I'm using a device that doesn't already support virtual WAN automatic configuration. If I put that over here, it'll help me when I download the VPN site configuration. So I can pretty much just hit confirm. So I'm creating my branch. I'm creating the logical representation of my branch. It is already over here. Next thing to do is create hubs, right? So because I'm gonna create a new hub, I have to create a new hub for every single region that I want connectivity. So let's say that I want a East to West hub. So I can say I want a East US 2. Uh, Let me put my user over here. Hub. What is the what is gonna be the address of that hub? The address range, right? The ASA number and the scale unit. The scale unit is the capacity of data injection into that hub. So let's start with a smaller one. We can always, scale up. And let me create a new one, for example, in, oops, South Central US, and just name it South Central US. And I have another another address range and the same scale unit. It could be different. Just hit confirm. So I'm right now creating two hubs. Okay, and let me just create another. Oh, I name it South Central, but I actually put it on East US. Sorry about that. But let me create a second site and call I don't know branch 01 101 dot 0 dot 0 dot 100 dot 10 dot 1. It just oops, it's too many numbers. And let's say that this has another address range, right? And now I'm gonna creating South Central US. So now I have two hubs and two sites, right? If I refresh this, already seeing my two sites, one is updating, one is provision. If I go back to overview, now I can see on the map that I have two entry points to my global virtual WAN, one in South Central, one in East US. The next thing I need to do is if I'm working with VPN gateways that support virtual WAN, Azure is already would be already reaching out to those VPN gateways because we put their IPs over there, and they're gonna be exchanging certificates, and the connectivity will be automatically established. If you are using VPN gateways on your branch that is still doesn't support this automatic virtual WAN configuration, you can pretty much come here and click on download VPN configuration, right? We're gonna generate the configuration for you, and you can pretty much pass it over either to your network guys or to your VPN gateway administrator, and they can apply that configuration into your VPN gateways. Just wait a little bit, and oops. Oh, it fails to create. Sorry, because we are actually still deploying it. But if the deploy was already finished, we could just download it. And the last step is pretty much click on virtual network connections, and you can add a virtual network connection. So for example, if I'm coming to East2S2, I can add a connection name, so 2 is to VNet. I can select a hub, and I can select my virtual network gateway. So for example, I want to connect this core infra, and then I hit it OK. And right now I'm connecting my hub to that VNet. So I'll have the hub connected to the VNet, the hub connected to my branch offices that lives in East US, and I'm gonna have every single hub interconnected into my Azure Virtual WAN. That way, all of those servers can from now on talk to each other in a seamless manner. If you come here to configuration, you're gonna see that you have traffic allowed between branches and Azure, or you can just pretty much click over here and do not allow connectivity between branches. So branches can talk to Azure, but cannot talk to each other, right? And after you did all of that in a couple clicks, you pretty much have your connectivity monitor. Sorry, you can pretty much have your connectivity monitor where you can start monitoring with Network Watcher how each server, so those are two servers that are living in my network. You can pretty much monitor how them can access and use the virtual WAN. So you will not see traffic because they're not talking to anybody. They're just test servers. But you could see here uh, the millisecond latency and how they're gonna talk to each other through the Azure Virtual WAN. And you can also monitor the health of your Azure Virtual WAN over here. All right, because we are still deploying. You see that it's still in updating states. We don't have anything over here, but here you would see the health of every single one of your VPN site to site. So this is something that we didn't have so far, a single place when you can monitor the health of every single connection you have coming in and out of Azure. You can also use Azure Monitor to monitor that. That health blade is actually getting data from Azure Monitor, right? So I know that we are almost at time. I still have 5 minutes left. I would like to leave these 5 minutes if you guys have any questions about it or anything you may would like to know about Azure Virtual Wan.
Marcus, there is a question in the IM window.
Okay, let me just go over there to
It's around
read it.
the S2S site-to-site VPN. So, do egress data charges apply if the traffic is leaving the virtual hub to their branches?
Yes, yes. So that's remain true. If you have a site-to-site connectivity, everything that leaves the virtual hub into your branch, you would be paying egress traffic. That's doesn't change. So the idea of virtual hub, it is a new service that will make the life of a network team much easier to interconnect branches, right? So again, you could, and I have a few customers that are doing this right now without virtual WAN, but the life of their network guys are close to miserable because when they have an issue, they don't have a single place to look. They don't know how to troubleshoot it. Every single connection is independent. So Azure Virtual WAN is a way to you literally lay down a global presence for your company, connecting all of your branches and manage everything from a single place. And if you are using uh, one of our partners VPN gateways that already knows how to automatically connect to Azure Virtual WAN, you don't have to do a single configuration.
So, how is the pricing, man? There's a question about pricing, how the pricing works.
Okay, so let me go to our uh, our Azure WAN pricing. Oops, it's pretty much, and I can show you guys. I think it's better. Pricing details. So pretty much, the service per se is free. Okay, what you're gonna pay is for the scale units of every single VPN site. So remember, when we create a hub and then we create a site, a VPN site, which representation uh, of your on premise. On that hub, there is a VPN that gets created, and we choose the scale unit. Remember that we choose the scale unit of 500 megabits. So that scale unit costs you point 36 an hour, and each connectivity that comes to that hub costs $0.08 an hour for one connection. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. If you don't, if you miss it, I can come back here on the Azure Monitor just for a sec. When you create the hub, this is the scale, the gateway scale unit, right? So I'm using one scale unit of 500 megabits, right? So that
So, basically, that's the gateway unit. I mean,
that's
this
the
is the
gate.
gate. Okay.
Yes. So that's the 0.361 dollars an hour plus 0.08 for every single connection. So if I have one connection to that hub, it's 0.361 plus 0.08. If I have two connections, 0.361 plus 0.08 plus 0.08 and so on. If you need to scale from 500 megabits to 1 gig, you're going to be paying two scale units, two VPN scale units, and as many site-side connectivity as you need. right? If you are connecting through express route, you can also connect an express route to the hub. If you're connecting an express route to the hub, then you're already paying for the express route, so you don't need to pay anything on the hub. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, I don't see any
Yes.
other question.
Yes, James, this is exactly the idea. You could pretty much replace all of your MPLS connectivity, and a lot of companies, they hire what they call MPLS ring, right? Which pretty much, I have a ring across the globe and I connect every single branch to that MPLS. The idea is pretty much the same here. The difference is that you're paying by the hour and you don't have any fees to upgrade, downgrade, or cancel. You don't have a contract. It's a pure pay as you go play. And that's, in my opinion, is the beauty of it. Because even if you have an MPLS ring, you still have to connect your Azure to that MPLS ring, and you still have to connect all of your branches to that MPLS ring, right? This thing makes more seamlessly. You connect cloud and on-prem, and just everything becomes your virtual WAN, your global wide area network.
There is another question about
They
express route.
can, yes, they can coexist. You can use one, the other, or you can use both for redundancy if you like to. So you can have site-to-site connectivities, point-to-site connectivities, and express route connectivities all coming into the same hub. Yep. So guys, if you don't have any other questions, we are 2 minutes past the hour. I would like to thank you so much. And one thing that I would like to recommend is talk to your network guys, show them this to them. They will really like it. And it's just test it out. You can just deploy it the same way I did and destroy it 2 hours, 2 days, 1 week later if you like to.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you. This is really informative, man. Thank you very
Thank,
much. Thank you, everyone.
thank you guys. Bye bye.
Happy
Thank you.
Friday, everyone.
Bye. Happy
See you
Friday.
next week. Bye bye.
Yes, the presentation will be available.